What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today I want to talk about the left tackle of the Chicago Bears, Braxton Jones, in today's Film Room episode, and take a deep dive into his tape of 2023 in his season, what he was able to do, and if he should be the left tackle moving forward for the 2024 season, or if the Bears should look out for another tackle prospect in this upcoming draft. And as I mentioned in the intro today, guys, it's all about Braxton Jones, the left tackle of the Chicago Bears. Is he safe for 2024 or is a top tackle in this upcoming draft with the Chicago Bears having 2 top 10 picks the better option moving forward for the Chicago Bears? What we're going to do today is dive into his tape of 2023, look at his pass pro sets, his running game, and also some plays where he was not successful in pass pro as well, especially. So it's not only good and talking about the roses, what he was able to achieve in 2023. No, we're also going to be transparent here and look at the bad plays that he had last season. But before we actually want to dive into his 2023 film, we actually have to consider a couple of things before we do that. First of all, his stats of 2023 do not always say that much and have that much weight, but still, he had 2 sacks allowed over his 11 games played and 32 pressures on Justin Fields. Now, those pressures do not always have to be on Braxton Jones, but still, those are okay numbers for a left tackle in the league. Pretty solid, nothing too crazy and nothing too bad. As for his contract situation, is obviously very important too, and the great thing is he's still, first of all, only 25 years old when the 2024 season started, and he's under contract until 2026, so we effectively have 2 more cheap years left on Braxton Jones' rookie deal before we even have to extend him, so the risk contract-wise is really low. Then also what's pretty important is the Chicago Bears scheme. Obviously, will he fit the new offensive coordinator scheme, because the Bears fired offensive coordinator Luke Getsy from his duties with the Bears offense after 2 years. Now for the Bears run game, the last 2 years it was very zone run heavy, and what's the new offensive coordinator going to do? Is Braxton Jones still fitting in this? Because he's a phenomenal run blocker in the zone run scheme, but so far for the candidates that the Chicago Bears brought in, Shane Waldron and Clint Kubiak are 2 guys that Waldron was coaching for the Seattle Seahawks before, and Kubiak was coaching for the 49ers so far the last season. So both teams are very zone run heavy, which is a great indicator that Braxton Jones will fit this upcoming scheme that the Chicago Bears will implement on offense. Does that mean that it will necessarily be that scheme? It's only 2 guys so far that have interviewed or been people of interest for that job for the Chicago Bears, but so far it looks like it's going to be a zone run heavy scheme again, and that's what mostly runs the league anyways. So I'm pretty confident that Braxton Jones will fit the new scheme that will be implemented. And then lastly, what is a thing to consider is actually the draft. There's 2 top 10 draft picks that the Chicago Bears have in this year's draft, and for me there's a lot of great top guys at positions of need for the Chicago Bears, looking at wide receiver, edge, and also potentially, if we move on from Justin Fields, quarterback. So for me, the Chicago Bears in a great spot to not take a tackle, even though there's Olu Fashanu and Joe Alt available as top tackles in this upcoming draft. But there's other players at edge, wide receiver, and potentially quarterback that the Chicago Bears could pick easily, and sticking with Braxton Jones would not be the worst decision ever. But with that being said, let's now finally start with today's Film Room episode and take a look at the 2023 season of Braxton Jones, starting off with his pass pro sets. And what I can say after watching his tape, what I came up really impressed with is, first of all, that he has a really good base, fast kick step into his sets, and he's just a very, very smooth pass blocker, and also in the run game. Overall, smooth is a perfect word to describe Braxton Jones. You see it in every movement that he does. It's absolutely impressive. Also, the awareness on stunts, you saw that on tape. He knows when to pass on to the next guy, and then also very much good core strength to hold up against bull rushes, and his hand placement looked good for most of the tape as well. As we now want to look into some plays space a little bit deeper against the Lions here against Julian Okwara. There's a good play here where he shows that smoothness into his pass set and his base. Has a great core strength on that play and then just locks down the rusher with a good base. That's what you want. That gives your quarterback time, right? Getting smoothly into your base, not oversetting, just having smooth and good timing here on that play. Absolutely love that one. Getting to another one also against the Detroit Lions. Once again, very smooth kick step here again. It's a beauty to watch. And then great hand placement on that play with great strength also on his first punch here. So love where he places his hands, but also the way he gets there to shock the edge rusher that tries to get to the quarterback. That's great stuff here by Braxton Jones. And also solid base on the play. Can't go wrong with that. So first two plays look really, really solid by Braxton Jones here. Then into another game against the Minnesota Vikings. Shows the ability and patience to let a stunt develop, and then also gets the perfect timing to pass it off and take on the next guy. He picks it up with ease here. Just a great rep here. Love this one by Braxton Jones. Easy work all day long. And then another very important one against the Minnesota Vikings was against Danielle Hunter here. Obviously a really good pass rusher, and he gets vertical here fast on that play, which is obviously always dangerous. You don't want edge rushers to get vertical because then they can play really with your leverage. And he does so here, Danielle Hunter, but Braxton Jones with an outstanding job here, not being phased and just dominating this entire rep, leading him around the pocket. Came out really impressed with this one, and overall in this Lions and Vikings game, he was really dominant overall. Also against the Atlanta Falcons late in the season, he looked really good, and especially Vikings and the Detroit Lions have good edge rushers like Aiden Hutchinson or Danielle Hunter, and he looked really good against those guys. As we now want to move on to his 2023 performance in the run game for the Chicago Bears, because I feel like he's been even a better run blocker his first 2 years in the league. And what really struck here with the run game, what was evident on tape, is first of all his insane athleticism. Like, you just see it, he's just so smooth running into the second level, explosive, like he gets up to speed fast, and just his ability to quickly get into the second level is so valuable for an offense. He can really lock down linebackers and work double teams fast. I love that from Braxton Jones tape. Then also he takes good angles in space, not letting people get around him fast and not oversetting in any scenario. And then lastly, pretty good pad level, I would say. He always tries to stay low and have good core strength here, and he displayed that in the following plays that we want to look at as well. Again, getting into the Lions game here, had a key block on the DJ Moore touchdown here. Love this block. I mean, just look at the explosiveness out of the stance right here by Braxton Jones. This is absolutely outstanding and wins him this rep right here, and then works around the edge rusher into the second level, gets moving downfield quickly, and lands a key block here in the second level on a DB right here. So that's a beautiful play by Braxton Jones, just displaying everything I just said: athleticism, smoothness, quickness into the second level, good angle, and then a great block right here for a big play touchdown by DJ Moore. Then later in the same game against the Detroit Lions, love this one too. This one just shows again the explosiveness into the second level. It's so impressive to watch on tape and so much fun. He gets moving so quickly right here on this example, and then takes again a great angle and takes Anzalone out of the entire play. Now the play doesn't get for that many yards, but Braxton Jones at least did his job, which is the most important aspect here, talking about hopefully the future left tackle of the Chicago Bears. As for another really impressive play, key block here against the Cleveland Browns, inside zone run for the Chicago Bears and pinned back by their own end zone right here. And I love the hand placement right here by Braxton Jones. Once again, strong core, and then just locks out the end out of the entire play. He won't play any role here anymore, and then Roschon Johnson hits that hole for a big gain to get the Chicago Bears out of that miserable situation right here. Outstanding job, Braxton Jones. Once again, I can just say it again and again and again, against the run, or for the run game for the Chicago Bears. He looked really, really good. And then one more example I really liked against the Minnesota Vikings. Bears play outside zone, try to stretch the field right here, and this is just an example of great hands right here for Braxton Jones. He engages with the defensive lineman quickly, and then just the smoothness again to consistently keeping control during his movements while moving and having a big defensive lineman beside him that he also holds away with his hands. Like, this is impressive stuff by Braxton Jones here, and just another really good, smooth, easy move and rep here for Braxton Jones to land a good block here, even though I think Roshan Johnson it is on the play gets a good cutback here on the play for a couple of good positive yards right here as well. As we now want to move on after seeing what he's able to do in the pass pro and in the run game in 2023, and look at some of his struggles because his season was not perfect in the second category of today, which is talking about his bad reps. And when we're talking about Braxton Jones and his 2023 performance, he overall had a really good season, but there's still a couple of things that could be criticized. First of all, one thing I saw is that he does have the issue of mistiming some of his punches. It's not a consistent issue, but it's something that will pop up on tape a couple of times. One example against the Detroit Lions, where he tries to time the punch here against the edge rusher, but he just gets him with a really good dip and rip move and just ducks underneath his punch. So right here, he could be a little bit more patient. He just overstruck here, wanted too much, and then got beat by the Detroit Lions edge rusher right here. Then also another thing that was evident on tape is that he can get caught by vertical speed rushes. We've seen that he handled one against Danielle Hunter really well, but there's a couple of plays that I want to get into right here where you can see him struggling. One against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though for this rep I have to say Joe Tryon-Shoyinka got an insane release right here on this play. I mean, look at where he gets off compared to the other offense and defensive linemen. It's an insane get off right here. Great job by him. So I don't want to blame this too much on Braxton Jones, honestly, because it's just a great job right here by Tryon-Shoyinka of getting quickly off the line and then getting vertical to control this rep right here. So there's not that much Braxton Jones can do, but it's still an allowed sack. So it is what it is right here on that play. And then another example against one of the best edge rushers in the league, Myles Garrett, against the Cleveland Browns. He also gets vertical fast on that play, and Braxton Jones tries to recover here with being slower, but he fails to stay square right here and allows a pressure on Justin Fields. And if it wasn't for a crazy play by the young quarterback, it would be probably a sack. Justin Fields makes a touchdown out of it. So another example of why Justin Fields is actually such a special player, but Braxton Jones gets beat here a couple of times against the Cleveland Browns. Definitely his worst game of 2023. But honestly, there's maybe two guys, one tackle in the league that can truly compete with Myles Garrett on a consistent base. So I'm not blaming Braxton Jones that much, and I'm not asking for that every single week, right? Braxton Jones is doing a good job against rushers like Aiden Hutchinson, Danielle Hunter, some good rushers, and against those great ones, he's giving some solid performances. Against Myles Garrett, he struggled, but that's absolutely understandable because the guy is a freak of nature. But with that being said, getting into the conclusion overall, should the Chicago Bears look out for a new tackle? Is Braxton Jones an issue or not? Is he a starting tackle? And for me, after watching the tape, I came up super impressed with Braxton Jones' performance in 2023. He already was great in his rookie season, and he continued that strong outing in his second season in the NFL. I love how he looks in pass sets. In the run game, he's just such a smooth mover, and I think the Chicago Bears are in a great spot where they do not have to take a offensive tackle in this upcoming draft and waste that pick on an offensive lineman, because the 5th round pick from 2 years ago is actually playing excellent. He definitely earned another shot at the starting position in 2024. Now, if he struggles in 2024, this is obviously a different thing, and it could definitely affect the season, but so far, Braxton Jones looked really good for his first 2 years. He's cheap on his contract. He fits the scheme. Like, so many things speak really into a positive direction why the Chicago Bears should keep him at the starting left tackle spot, and I'm honestly really confident that he can be the franchise tackle for the Chicago Bears for many, many years more and form that great duo with Darnell Wright on the right side. And if it doesn't work out, like I said, in 2025, you have another draft where you can pick up a guy in the first round. But for your 2024 2 top 10 picks, you can now focus on something else, which is a big benefit for the Chicago Bears. You can focus on edge, wide receiver, maybe quarterback, whatever it is, but you do not have to really feel bad about the tackle spots, because you have really 2 young, talented guys right there for the Chicago Bears in 2024. And with that being said, guys, that's the end of the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of Braxton Jones' 2024 season and if the Chicago Bears should still consider offensive tackle in this upcoming draft. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.